They say the ocean hides more secrets than the stars. But beneath its dark surface, there's one secret that was never meant to be found. A prison, built not on land, but deep under the sea. This wasn't a movie. It wasn't science fiction. It was real. And the men who entered it were never the same again. During the Cold War, the world was obsessed with what lay beyond the horizon. Space, nuclear weapons, espionage. Every frontier was weaponized. But one frontier was quieter, colder, more claustrophobic: the ocean. In the 1960s, both the United States and the Soviet Union were racing not just to dominate the skies, but to conquer the deep sea. Military strategists imagined bases on the sea floor, listening posts for submarines, hidden labs for secret experiments. But one idea stood out above the rest: a facility where prisoners of war could be locked away, invisible, unreachable, and forgotten. The project began with a single terrifying question: what would happen to the human mind when it was cut off from the world, sealed underwater in absolute isolation? According to declassified documents, engineers designed an underwater capsule off the coast of a classified naval zone. It looked like a small oil rig on the surface, but beneath, steel tubes led down to chambers the size of shipping containers. Inside, there were bunks, a single light, and recycled air that carried the metallic taste of the sea. There were no windows, only the hum of pumps and the crushing silence of the deep. At first, it wasn't meant to be a prison. It was framed as an experiment in human endurance. Divers, volunteers, even scientists themselves, sent down to live for weeks at a time to test whether humans could one day colonize the ocean floor. But something changed. Whispers in military circles suggest that certain detainees, spies, deserters, political dissidents, were quietly volunteered for these trials. No records, no trials, just a one-way trip below the waves. The human cost was devastating. Imagine it. Hours turned to days, days to weeks. No sunrise, no horizon, no way to tell if it was morning or midnight. The pressure of the sea outside became a metaphor for the pressure inside your mind. Survivors who later spoke under anonymity described hallucinations, voices whispering through the walls, phantom footsteps, and the sensation of drowning, even while breathing. Some broke down within days. Others retreated into silence, staring at the ceiling for weeks. One man, a naval recruit, scribbled a final message on the back of a ration box before he was pulled out. "The ocean is inside me now. I can't leave it." Psychologists would later argue that this kind of confinement wasn't just punishment, it was erasure, a way to erase a man's sense of time, of self, even of being human. And that was the point. In a world where governments needed enemies to disappear without a trace, what better place than the ocean? No graves, no bodies, just silence. But here's the twist. Evidence suggests these underwater prisons weren't just American. The Soviets had their own versions too, hidden under the Caspian Sea or off remote Arctic coasts. Some were designed for research, others for punishment. Both sides, sworn enemies, secretly shared the same nightmare. And perhaps the darkest part is that no one can say for certain how many people went in and never came back. Today, most of these sites have been abandoned. rusting shells, swallowed by the sea. But divers and researchers still report strange encounters. Sealed hatches buried in the silt, heavy steel doors that lead nowhere, faint radiation readings near old facilities. And then there are the stories. Fishermen who hear metallic knocking rising from the deep. Divers who swear they found carvings scratched into steel walls, far below human reach. Of course, skeptics dismiss it all as myth, Cold War paranoia echoing through the decades. But myths, after all, usually start with a seed of truth. So why does this matter now? Because hidden prisons aren't just relics of the past. They force us to ask what governments are still capable of in places we cannot see. The ocean is vast, dark, and silent. It swallows secrets whole, and maybe that's why it was chosen. But if there really was a prison under the ocean, then it wasn't just a cage for men. It was a mirror, a reflection of our deepest fear, that when stripped of light, of freedom, of the world itself, the line between man and ghost becomes impossibly thin. And so, the ocean keeps its silence. The files remain classified. And the truth, the full truth, may forever stay out of reach. But next time you look out at the waves, consider this. Somewhere beneath that endless surface lie stories that were never told, voices that were never heard, and prisons that were never meant to be remembered. Because sometimes, the most terrifying prisons are the ones no one believes exist.